I want to tell you exactly what happened the day Uber said they would pick me up in my wheelchair, because what they advertise and what they deliver are two different worlds. I am Jason. I have been in a wheelchair for years. Rideshare apps promised the disability community equal access. They charged us the same fares, made us watch the same ads about inclusion, and pointed us at the wave option in the app like it was a real solution. So I tested it. I requested rides. I waited. And what actually happened is the story I am telling you today. Let me back up and explain what WAVE even is, because most able-bodied people have never noticed this option. WAVE stands for Wheelchair Accessible Vehicle. In the rideshare app, it is supposed to dispatch a vehicle with a ramp or lift that can accommodate a non-folding power wheelchair. Standard rideshare cars cannot take power chairs. The chair is too heavy, the trunk is too small, and most drivers are not trained on transfers. WAV exists because federal disability law requires rideshare companies to offer equal access. The option is in the app. Whether it actually shows up is another matter entirely. The first time I requested a WAV, the app said no drivers were available in my area. I live in a metro area with a population of millions. Plenty of regular Uber drivers, plenty of luxury black drivers, apparently zero WAV drivers. I waited 15 minutes, canceled. Tried again an hour later, same result. This is not a small town with no infrastructure. This is a city where you can have groceries delivered in 20 minutes and dinner from any cuisine in 30. But a wheelchair user trying to get to a doctor's appointment apparently exists in a different version of the same city. The second time I tried, the app actually matched a driver. The map showed the car coming, 3 minutes away, 2 minutes away, 1 minute. Then suddenly the driver canceled. The reason given in the app was a generic message about the driver being unable to complete the trip. I requested again, got a new match. Same thing. The driver accepted, drove toward me, and canceled when they were close enough to see I had a power chair and not a manual one. This pattern repeated 3 more times. Drivers do not always honor what the app accepts on their behalf. When I finally did get a WAVE ride to show up, the experience was its own kind of broken. The driver had not actually been trained on the lift. He hit the wrong button twice. The ramp jammed halfway down. He got it working after about 10 minutes of fumbling with his phone looking for instructions, while I sat on the sidewalk in the heat. Then he had no idea how to secure the chair inside the vehicle. There are 4 tie-down points on a proper WAV. He used 1. The whole ride, my chair shifted every time he turned a corner. I kept waiting for it to tip. And I want you to understand something. A power wheelchair weighs 300 pounds. With me in it, that is closer to 600 pounds of unsecured weight in a moving vehicle. If that driver had to slam on the brakes, my chair becomes a projectile. The lift was supposed to make this safer, not just possible. Instead, the entire ride was a slow-motion accident waiting to happen. If you have ever had a rideshare experience like this, hit subscribe and tell me about it in the comments, because the more of these stories that surface, the harder it is for the companies to pretend the problem does not exist. I am Jason. This is Rolling Disaster, and we are halfway through. The next part is what I learned about why this keeps happening, what the law actually requires, and what is starting to change because of disabled people who refuse to stay quiet. Here is what I found out about why WAV service is so unreliable. Rideshare companies classify their drivers as independent contractors, not employees. The companies say they cannot require drivers to take WAV training, cannot require drivers to outfit their personal vehicles with lifts, and cannot guarantee a WAV vehicle will be near you when you request one. The whole model depends on enough drivers voluntarily choosing to do this work. Outfitting a vehicle with a wheelchair lift costs tens of thousands of dollars. Most contractor drivers are not going to make that investment for a tiny niche of customers. The Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, was passed in 1990. It requires public transportation and businesses serving the public to provide equal access. Rideshare companies have argued for years that they are technology platforms, not transportation providers, and therefore are not bound by the same rules as taxi fleets. Federal courts have started to push back. The Department of Justice has filed suits. Lawsuits brought by disability advocates have forced settlements that include WAV expansion commitments. Progress is being made, slowly, painfully, lawsuit by lawsuit. None of it is fast enough for the people who need rides today. A few cities have started running pilot programs that actually work. New York City, for example, has WAV requirements baked into rideshare licensing that have measurably improved wait times for wheelchair users. Some cities subsidize WAV vehicle conversions. Some have minimum WAV fleet requirements. Where local governments have pushed, things have improved. Where they have left it up to the rideshare companies to self-regulate, nothing has changed. The lesson is the same lesson disability rights have always taught us. Nothing improves without sustained, organized pressure from the community itself. So, what do you actually do as a wheelchair user who needs to get somewhere today? Number 1. Build relationships with local accessible taxi services, if any exist in your area. Many medium and large cities still have small, accessible taxi fleets that are far more reliable than rideshare WAV. Number 2. Paratransit services run by your local transit authority are often free or low cost, but require advance booking. Number 3. File complaints when rideshare WAV fails you. Both Uber and Lyft track disability complaints, and the Department of Justice tracks them too. Complaints are evidence in future lawsuits. Number 4. Document everything. Screenshot the cancellations. Save the in-app messages. Note the time you waited and the time you finally gave up. That documentation is what turns one person's bad day into a class action that actually changes the system. The lawsuits that have forced WAV expansion in cities around the country were built on exactly this kind of evidence from disabled riders who refused to let the bad rides go unrecorded. I want to be honest about something. I am not telling you to never use rideshare. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the driver who shows up is fantastic, knows the equipment, and treats you with respect. I have had rides like that, and I tipped well and I left 5-star reviews. The problem is not that good drivers do not exist. The problem is that the system is built on a coin flip, and disabled people pay the cost when the coin lands wrong. Equal access does not mean equal access most of the time. It means equal access every time, and we are not there yet. If you have a rideshare wheelchair story, drop it in the comments. The good ones, the bad ones, the funny ones, the dangerous ones. The more of these stories live in one place, the more leverage we have when the next lawsuit, the next city ordinance, or the next federal rulemaking is being decided. Disabled people stay quiet because the system trains us to. Rolling disaster is where we stop being quiet. Hit subscribe and I will see you in the next one. This is Jason.